Alright, aloha family! Spencer-Mack here. Cultivating the ultimate state. Enjoying the experiment of life and learning the intricacies of how the elements all combine to create this fantastic experience we call life. Still playing in the mundane lands, I love to share some of the insights I've gained through more dietary experiments. I find the land of the diet, of the food, and of the training very useful because it's a solid metric we can test. And we can use it to actually cultivate the mind because it's quite difficult to adhere to fasting or to adhere to training daily. So that's why I use my body as my laboratory as well as my resume, because I know it's something that can't be faked. Sure, there are steroids and drugs like that out there, but that's nothing I'm interested in. I'm interested in learning how these things work to make the ability to cultivate a strong body and a clear and potently focused mind enjoyable. And through the trials of learning, growing up in a world eating Fruit Loops and toaster strudels, going through the land of veganism and detoxing, long fasts, where I find myself now is about 3.5 years into an Amen style lifestyle. Amen fast 23 hours a day, breaking your fast with a very nutrient-dense substance and then enjoying the meal of your choice. Vegan is of primary importance under the Amen protocol. That is something I've adhered to, though one of the variables I've switched just to suit me, perhaps my genetics, perhaps my metabolism, was to go ketogenic, meaning cut out the carbs. And that was a huge thing for me in so many ways. I already had videos on it in the past, and I have isolated myself into an experiment purely for the joy of it, where I've basically eliminated all carbohydrates. I got to the highest state of expression and physical performance, mental clarity, doing that, and hit a mineral wall and learned about deficiencies. That's why I've been in the minerals so much recently. Now I'm back onto the diet I was at before I took that tumble, really starting to get that vitality and vigor back. So I'm actually getting back into training now, and it feels so good. So I'm going to test some metrics, right? Pull-ups. I want to test my top sprint speed because I love sprints. I wish I had like a radar gun. I could just test how fast I can go. So I'm going to test pull-ups, those military-style push-ups, and oh yeah, hex bar deadlift, because I feel like I'm just waking my body back up again. I went through almost 3 months of not training, and I'm feeling a lot more invigorated now. So I want to capture those things because metrics are important when you're trying to grow, develop, create change. Weight and measure is extremely useful. The topic of this video now, after that long-winded explanation, is intermittent carb ups or targeted ketogenic dieting. Something that I was able to do that I haven't read anywhere in the literature is maintain a deep state of nutritional ketosis while consuming carbs in the evening. I am now doing a modified version of that, where what they call is cyclical ketogenic dieting. Ketogenic being no carbs, cyclical being an intermittent introduction of carbs into the diet. Last night I had some delicious poi waffles and it was fantastic. It's one of my favorite foods. And so I started after about 3.5 weeks feeling a little kind of lethargic, not like super pumped to go play, to go train. And that was on 0 carbs. So I hit some carbs last night, noticeably feeling a lot better. The name of the game for me, the carbs are like this very gentle meter that you add in depending on how intensely you're training. Because something I was able to do was to eat 200 grams of straight sugar in the evening and wake up and be in ketosis at 6 o'clock in the morning, which most people would tell you is impossible. But the combination of chronic intermittent fasting, actually adapting to 23-hour fasts, moderate caloric restriction, I'm only eating 1,800 to 2,000 calories, and adapting to ketogenic diet, making my body, my insulin sensitivity, my glucose tolerance that much higher, and high intensity training. So when you do put sugar in there, your muscles suck the glucose out of the bloodstream, which is actually one of the benefits to having muscle for a longevity approach. The less circulating sugars you have, theoretically, the less glycation you get. And glycation is basically the caramelizing of sugar and proteins in your body, creating denatured proteins, ultimately leading to aging. So having muscle allows your body to pull that glucose out of the bloodstream and get your sugar lower again and free you from the danger of that circulating glucose. So they're all just scientific theories, my friend. I'd like to state, be careful speaking in absolutes, okay? I've changed my diet so many times. I don't preach that I know anything. I preach that I've tried many things, and I can tell you how they've affected me. The way that I work with people is I just present the information as I have seen it. I've done a lot of research. I put it all on the table, and the individual can decide based on where they are, what really resonates with them, because we're all unique, okay? This is still something we're all learning and growing with. So that's my approach. I just read, get educated, try isolated experiments, and here's another key: change variables gradually, all right? Don't just jump from here to there to over here. If you really want to know what's affecting you, be patient and change one variable at a time. So the variable I'm changing now is I'm going to add vitamin waffles once a week, probably about 500 grams worth. Basically 1 day a week, probably eat all of my calories as carbs. I've been living on freshly pressed hemp, flax, chia seed oil as my main source of calories. I'm going to make a video about my oil press and how I've been doing that. And it's pretty cool too, because I'm basically getting about 1,800 calories a day for about $4. And they're very high quality oils. And it's freaking delicious. Granted, it's very restrictive compared to what most people feel. But I'd also like to express, whenever I do finally consume a meal, I go out and eat dinner, or like all the food I ate last night, I digest it easily. I don't have any qualms, no issue. So that's a good sign, because I've heard some people like going carnivore, for instance, or getting real hardcore keto. Whenever they eat something that is off of that diet, it just throws them off gnarly. Granted, what I'm eating is still clean, easily digestible, and I'm in a state of high receptivity to nutrition. So those are variables that are important. So that was the main idea I wanted to jump on here to share with you guys. Definitely feel the impact of the carbs. Now I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go throw some lifts in. So today I'm going to test those metrics and see where I'm at and lay that down, and that'll be my metric. And I highly recommend testing metrics, because otherwise a lot of it's just opinion. That's why another reason I really appreciate Dr. Amin-Ra's work, because we're all wearing our opinions, basically, the ones that we can actually adhere to. So if you can't actually adhere to the thing you're preaching, first of all, you need to stop talking. Second of all, you should probably just listen to the individuals who are embodying health. And granted, people can portray false appearances through the interweb, but the truth will prevail. Ultimately, all will be seen. So in this day and age, there's no hiding. And approaching it humbly is my attempt to just say, this is where I'm at, this is my experiment. My goal ultimately is just to experience what my optimal state is, my full potential. I'm very fascinated in regeneration of the body, to see if we can create the ultimate environment that can perpetuate a vital state of our cells, of this body, as well as I'm chronically into the pursuit of cultivating my relationship, my communion with spirit, whatever you want to call it, the thing that's animating this crazy dream, being seen, seeing on both sides, the paradoxical, non-existent awareness, whatever that thing is. That's really the ultimate goal, because building that connection is the one thing that's going to last in this life. Everything else you will lose. Your body will die. You're going to die. But the spirit, the awareness, the consciousness, isn't that nice? And you rest in that. Let me not wander off too much. So there we are. Ketogenic. And I'm going to do a video on the amino acid profile that I've chosen to use and the amino acids that I use. That's what I find is next in order of operations as for most necessary. It's fascinating getting down to the root of how much we actually know about what we're composed of and how all of these different elements that exist in our reality come together to make us. And you can be missing just one of those things can throw the whole orchestra out of whack. Now granted, we'll never grasp and see the spirit or the awareness that's orchestrating it, but somehow when all of these pieces are together, there's this harmonious physical experience. So currently I'm on a journey through the elements, minerals, amino acids, vitamins, and so I'm going to be hitting the amino acids in this next video or the one after that. I want to jump on here and take some questions while I can, hitting it live. What's up, my friends? I got to adjust my screen so I can actually see what's going on here. Still cultivating the technology skills so that I can really make this streamline. I want to be able to like show you guys studies while I'm talking about them. So here we are. Alright, what up, Jay? Aloha, brother. Hanuman, what a dope name to pick, bro. Hanuman squats, man. I want to share that. That exercise is one of my favorites. Hanuman is a legend. John, what's going on, brother? Blood Raven. Almond diet, eating Doritos and Mountain Dew 1 time a day, getting ripped. How do they do that? Now, I've seen this guy. I shite you not. He had this channel called Get Shredded on Pop-Tarts, and the dude was shredded. He was like, no. It's like, dude, how are you so shredded? And there are people who have whole fan bases that just show how, hey, look, I can eat fast food crap and still be in good shape. There's a whole world like that out there. My perspective on that is these people, because I've witnessed a few of my friends who could just tank through some food and some alcohol and some parties, barely sleeping. My theory on how they can do this is they're running on what the Chinese would call Jing, which is your root essence. It's what you get from your parents. It's like the fuel you come in with. Jing, Qi, Shin. Shin is like the spirit that illuminates. Qi is like the energy that we can distill and create in this world, in this life. But the Jing is like something you have a limited amount of. You get it from your ancestors. And I think these people who can just tank on this stuff are just running on Jing because at some point they do run out. So don't fall into that illusion that you'll be able to maintain that. God bless it if you can, though, man. That would be an epic an epic diet if you can maintain that. How much liquid do you drink during the fast? Also, what's your opinion on the most important Amun-Ra literature to purchase first? Definitely just send him a donation and, you know, express where you're at and say that I'm just getting started, and he will give you the right piece. Probably the first phase. And as for liquid, I'm under a gallon a day. It's about where I'm at. 1 gallon a day with all of the minerals. I don't have it around me, but that whole mineral blend, which I think is funny too. Somebody hit me up on here the other day with the comments and said that I stole Snake Juice Diet Guy's elixir. And they are extremely similar, which I find hilarious. I actually found his work. If you guys aren't familiar with the snake diet, he's all about chronic fasting. Like you fast until you have to eat. And then you refeed like a snake. And during the fast, he prescribes this elixir, this electrolyte elixir that's salt, potassium chloride, sodium bicarbonate, magnesium sulfate, and it's evolved over the past year. When I first saw it, there wasn't sodium bicarbonate and magnesium sulfate in it. It was the 2 chlorides. Yeah, that was the first round that I saw, and it's cool because his is evolved and mine is evolved, and I see they're both getting they're very close in ratios. And so I do, as I've shared in that past video on minerals, supplement electrolytes throughout the day. It makes fasting so much easier and also just helps you replete some very common deficiencies. I'm upgrading mine blend as well. I'm going to get magnesium malate in there. And so those are things that I throw in to the fast fuel, what you drink during the day. Awesome, guys. Any more questions? A few more minutes. So that's been the ticket. It's like humbling when you can't train, so I'm grateful to be able to get back on that. The hex bar is my favorite metric. I'll see what I'm at this afternoon on pull-ups, those push-ups, and the hex bar lift. I'm going to go for something I can get about 3 times, if not find my max. And yeah, see if I can record that, just make a video of it. Do you recommend light exercise during detoxing for lymphatic movement? For sure, my friend. I recommend adopting a detoxing lifestyle, a lifestyle that you don't have to detox from. That's why some level of intermittent fasting, maybe 18-6, where you don't eat till noon or 2 o'clock, is very valuable because you get that deep cleanse over a long period of time. I'm not into real deep hardcore cleanses. Maybe every once in a while it's useful. Granted, it has its place. But I think adhering to a lifestyle of chronically subjecting yourself to things like that accelerate detox, which intermittent fasting, then when you train in the morning, you move all that lymph as you're saying. Yes, do movement while you're cleansing. It really helps move things. Deep breathing, yoga, saunas, very helpful. But I recommend defining a lifestyle that you don't have to actually cleanse from. That would be ideal. Do you remember, let me see. I always pull my back out with a hex bar. Not any other lift. That sucks, brother. So a lot of it is core, having your core locked. I don't know if you're familiar with yoga, but the root lock called Mula Bandha is key. Mula Bandha is at the very root of your spine. It's called the root lock, and everything stacks up on top of that. So learning how to really seal what they call the bandhas or the locks is key. And also the hex bar is way better for your back compared to what most people do, or the standard deadlift, the straight bar deadlift, which is a lot harder to master because the way that the bar is straight requires you to lean forward over the center. The hex bar, you can either do a squat by going straight up and down, or you can do a deadlift. And either way, you're able to keep the weight on your center line because you can stand in the middle of the weight itself. So start with real light weight and learn how to keep that pressure engaged in the core, and also having the breath linked properly. I don't know if you've watched powerlifting meets or powerlifters, but they take that inhale and they hold it, and that's their pressure because the body acts like a hydraulic. So when we learn how to use the bandhas and the breath, we can create internal pressure, and that pressure is what we use to exert force on the environment. I have a video on that, on the fundamentals of fitness or exercise. I talk about the bandhas, dynamic tension, and breath work. There's some cool stuff in there, like hypoxic training is pretty fascinating. There are lifting protocols to where you'll take an inhale, say you're doing the hex bar, big inhale, do 5 squats, exhale, big inhale, 5 squats, exhale. And this is known as hypoxic training, which is pretty fascinating. And it's been shown that it actually boosts the anabolic effect you get, because basically you're just applying stress to your body in the right amounts to get that response so that you bounce back with the hormones that cause you to grow. You send the message to your body that you have to grow. You have to have the ability to deal with this level of stress. You got to be able to move this fast with this much weight on you. And whenever we cut off the oxygen supply, we make the stress that much more difficult, and it also strengthens our ability to generate energy anaerobically. It's fascinating. Boosts mitochondrial biogenesis. The amount of mitochondria in our cells, our ability to produce energy. So it's pretty epic stuff, guys. Awesome. Yeah, start super light. That's what I do. You know, I tend to get super amped on something, then I'll go throw on too much weight like I'm about to do after I get out of here. And then I'm like, oh, I can't train, but I want to. So always start slowly, like really learn the fundamentals. Really make sure you've got proper posture, which I can't necessarily say I'm a master at, but considering I used to have scoliosis, right? I've had people comment, they're like, hey dude, I had one guy say, your abs are all out of whack. Is that because you're a vegan? Like, hey, I never saw that perception, but I could see how it could happen. I used to have scoliosis. My spine was 14 degrees off. Technically, it's 2 degrees off from being considered somebody with scoliosis. But through yoga, through years of practice, breath work, meditation, self-awareness, mirrors are extremely useful, dynamic tension, yoga, I got my spine back to 2 degrees, 1 degree, and I have intermittent x-rays, which are pretty cool. I want to collect them all and put them side by side. But it takes a conscious effort for me to maintain that alignment, and it's extremely important that we find that proper posture before we start applying a lot of weight, because that's where you get your injuries, and if you get injured you can't train, so you slow yourself down. Alright, Australia, aloha mate. I'm gonna be there hopefully late January, so all of my Australian family, let's just rage it in the most healthy way possible. Stoked to come down there. Have not been to the land down under in this biosuit yet. Well, cool guys, that's about where I'm at. Really appreciative. Like I said, dropping the carbs just changes things for me. Mucus goes away, sleep gets better, skin clears up, digestion. So many people hit me up about digestive issues. When you're watching this whole carnivore trend, one of the main things everybody's saying is like, hey, look, I'm not bloated anymore. I'm so used to when I eat, then I have my food going with me. You got gas and you got all these digestive issues. That's a common thing. And there's so many variables, right? Like what they're spraying on our food, wrecking our microbiome so we can't digest it in the first place, or all the antibiotics we took. It's just not easy these days, folks, for a lot of people. Some people don't even have to think about it yet. They're running on that jing. But for people like me, I had to learn and figure it out, and currently hitting that ketogenic is what is the best ever for me. am going to Byron Bay, my brother. Somewhere near that at least. Yeah, so let's stay in touch, man. Hit me up mid-May, mid-January. Awesome, guys. Much appreciated all. Any questions or things you'd like to share? I consider myself an open experiment, right? I just want to utilize and synthesize all the best information I can find and see what happens. So currently I'm fasting 23 hours a day, eating near zero carbs with intermittent carb ups with the power of delicious poi waffles, and utilizing things like amino acids, multivitamin minerals, and superfoods like spirulina, chlorella, things like that, and a multivitamin. And prayer, and communication, and meditation. Meditation. The center point, the only way you can actually keep yourself to adhere to such insane stuff. Sprouted grains are cool. I dig them. They're better than unsprouted grains. Low carb works for me, unless you just really dig the fermentation. I love amaranth. If it comes to at least a pseudo grain, amaranth is epic. It is more expensive, but it digests so easily. It's lower in carbs, and the amino acid profile is epic. Amaranth, and it's beautiful. Hopefully you're in a place you can grow it, because it's actually not that hard to grow and harvest. So buy some amaranth and just throw it out there during the rainy season, and you'll be stoked in the near future. Alright guys, lots of love and appreciation. Hatha Yoga, yeah, elements of Hatha Yoga. Yes, I do know elements of Kriya Yoga as well. A lot of different Kriyas. It's amazing how many different Kriyas there are. I can't get off here, guys. There's love. Good questions. So I'll stay here as long as there are, basically minus 10 minutes. Hatha Yoga and Kriya Yoga, using things like breath of fire. Really, whenever you start getting into the Kriyas, you see you can make a Kriya with just about anything. Linking the breath and the movement with a mantra or a mudra really generates and invigorates the heat. That's how I like to warm my body up in the morning. Then there's more intense cleansing kriyas like Nali Kriya, and even putting a string through your nostrils so you can floss your nose. It's intense as yogis. Vitamins in the morning. I don't take my vitamins in the morning because most vitamins minus the B vitamins and C are fat soluble, and since I'm not taking any calories until the evening, I might take water soluble vitamins through the day, but all I take is the electrolytes, When I have the fundage, I obtain things such as resveratrol. I am taking N-acetylcysteine. I take things like green tea extract and L-carnitine and carnosine. These things really help with the hunger and turning fat into energy. Dude, New Zealand! Bro, that's the direction I want to go. If you could like hit me up or stay in tune with me around January, man, it'd be epic to drop in. Cool, brother. Yeah, DTM is a legend. I'm really grateful for him. Awesome, bro. Across the world, my friends. Alright, I mean this one for real. Lots of love. I'm going to jump on here tomorrow and share either the aminos or the oil press. Lots of love, guys. Until next time. Peace.